Angel Reese says WNBA players could go on strike over salary and benefits.
Career you choose, you should probably look at what the career earnings are of going into that field.
If we're not paid what we deserve, we'll sit out. That was Angel Reese's bold statement, one that instantly set social media on fire. But instead of rallying support, it sparked a wave of criticism, and no response hit harder than Patrick Bet-David's. He didn't just disagree, he systematically broke down her argument with cold, hard financial facts. His takedown wasn't just a rebuttal, it was a reality check. And once you hear the full truth behind this debate, you might never see Angel's stance the same way again.
Ones coming this year will still be on the rookie contract again. The ones that the year after, they gonna get more. They probably gonna be making more than us. No, they are.
Who's that?
I'm hurt.
They are. Like, yeah. I've been in the meetings. They are.
I need to get in the. I need to get in the field.
You need to come to the meeting.
I gotta get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give. If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility for real.
So here's the situation. Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed Bayou Barbie turned pro, is now pushing for WNBA players to sit out if they don't get bigger paychecks. That's right, she's barely settled into the league, still working on finishing at the rim, and she's already talking about shutting it all down. Patrick Bet-David's reaction? A mix of shock, amusement, and pure disbelief. And honestly, can you blame him?
You know what I love watching? I love watching her highlights of missing shots. She's got to be the worst shooter you've met in your life. But go, Rob, just go. Give this feedback. Give this feedback here. Go for it.
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups. Period.
Layups? Bang! What do you mean? She's our double-double queen. Bang! What they say, if it's broke, don't fix it. Bang! Teaching Angel Reese to make a layup is like teaching an old dog a new trick. It ain't gonna work. Bang! Hey, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you? Have the Angel Reese McBang!
Let's break down exactly what Angel Reese had to say.
To get paid. Possibility. Reese has been vocal about her low WNBA salary, revealing her $74,000 a year salary doesn't cover rent, stating on Instagram Live, I just hope you know that the WNBA doesn't pay my bills at all. I don't even think they pay one of my bills. Reese's financial struggles stem from WNBA salary not matching her past earnings, as her NIL valuation at LSU was $1.8 million, bolstered by deals with Reebok, PlayStation, McDonald's, and Coach, while a 4-year rookie deal was $324,000 with $74,000 due next season.
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Let me do the math real quick.
He might cover that. Yeah, it definitely covers that.
What is I don't even know my salary.
Angel Reese recently opened up about her WNBA rookie salary, roughly $74,000, and claimed it's barely enough to cover rent in Chicago. Now, for most people, that's a pretty solid paycheck, but Reese is making it sound like she's barely scraping by. The irony? This is the same athlete who raked in nearly $1.8 million at LSU through endorsement deals with Reebok, PlayStation, McDonald's, and a long list of other brands, many of which seem to value her social media presence just as much as her skills on the court.
Not basketball sustain her, especially since the WNBA's $200 million revenue last season only allocated 9.3% to salaries, unlike the NBA's 50% share of the $5.3 billion in 2023. Adam, thoughts?
No, my rent is more than that. It's $8,000. I'm living beyond my means.
Angel Reese is locked into a 4-year rookie contract worth about $324,000, around $81,000 per season. That's less than 5% of what she made in college through NIL deals, which explains why she once said, hating pays the bills. Let's be real, her social media engagement is more lucrative than her stat sheet. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here shaping the future of women's basketball, while Reese seems more focused on building a brand with hot takes and, unfortunately, some of the most consistent bricklaying the league has seen. At this rate, the WNBA might start billing her for backboard maintenance.
Hey, this is the greatest Angel Reese layup you'll ever see. Here we go with the dump off, ba-da-dum-bum-bum. I'm loving it. Burn! Oh, she getting jiggy with it. Look at that, crisscross, zigging-zagging through the lane. Giddy up, yeehaw! Burn! Now I heard she's ambidextrous. That makes sense, cause she's equally doggy doo-doo with the right and left-handed layup. Burn! Professional basketball player needing to work on her layups is like a fish needing to learn how to breathe underwater. It doesn't make sense. Reese's Puffs!
Patrick wasn't shocked because Angel Reese is struggling financially. Let's be real, with her endorsement deal, she's doing just fine. What left him speechless was the sheer boldness of demanding a pay raise from a league that, wait for it, isn't even profitable. He pointed out a simple truth. In the real world, when a business is bleeding money year after year, it doesn't hand out raises, it hands out pink slips. That's when Adam Snick jumped in with hard facts, and the conversation took a whole new turn.
WNBA. And what's her name? Angel Reese. Do it. I fully support your right to strike. So other sports have done it. So other major sports have done it. Here's a quick list for you, PBD. I put this together. Biggest sports strikes in history. 1994, the MLB strike. It was the first time that the World Series was canceled.
I remember.
You remember that? In 1998, the NBA went on strike. They canceled the All-Star game for the first time.
No one
the
knows.
NFL has gone on strike multiple times. 1982, 1987, 2011.
Adam pointed out a crucial detail. Yes, the MLB, NBA, NHL, and NFL have all seen player strikes, but there's one major difference. Those leagues were pulling in billions when their athletes decided to walk out. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is acting like the WNBA is a Fortune 500 giant, when in reality, it's more like a struggling food truck, barely making ends meet while still handing out freebies.
Here's the catch when you're going to go on strike. In 1994, MLB, NBA, NFL, what's the number one revenue sport in America? What do you think it is? The NFL. How much do you think they make? $17 billion. The NBA, a little over $11 billion. The MLB, also $11 billion. The NHL, $7 billion.
Patrick didn't hold back. He laid out the cold, hard truth. The WNBA is bleeding nearly $50 million a year. That's not a thriving business, that's a financial disaster waiting to happen. Compare that to the NFL, which rakes in $17 billion annually, or the NBA and MLB, each clearing over $1 billion. Meanwhile, the WNBA struggles to hit $150 million and still can't turn a profit. It's like trying to run a 5-star resort with 2 guests and a lemonade stand budget.
Sorry. Alleged $150 to $200 million company. You're operating at a loss every single year. You've never made money. It's called a zombie company. You're subsidized.
This isn't a new problem. The WNBA has been running at a loss since it launched in 1997. That's over 25 years of financial struggles, empty ledgers, and wishful thinking. You'd assume that with Caitlin Clark bringing in record-breaking viewership and packed arenas, the league would finally turn a profit, but instead, the losses are piling up even faster. The only reason the WNBA is still standing, its deep-pocketed big brother, the NBA, keeping it afloat.
Question for you, Vinny. Real quick, rapid fire.
Go.
WNBA stats. Here we go. You're a sports guy. How many teams are in the WNBA?
9?
No, 13. How many games do they play?
80?
40.
Damn it.
Who won the championship this year and who played in the finals?
The Florida Magics.
No, the New York Liberty beat the Minnesota Lynx.
Who?
Who exactly?
A big part of the issue comes down to scale. The WNBA operates with just 12 teams, each playing a 40-game season. Compare that to the NBA's 30 teams and 82-game schedule, and the revenue gap becomes obvious. Fewer games mean fewer tickets sold, less TV money, and ultimately, less cash to go around. Expansion is on the way with the Golden State Valkyries set to join in 2025, but even that barely moves the needle. It's simple economics, unless of course you're Angel Reese or Dejanai Carrington.
The MVP. She was unanimous. She got all the votes.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yes.
Yes.
Aja Wilson.
Oh.
You just failed the test,
I'm
buddy.
sorry.
WNBA is coming for it.
Revenue sharing is another major factor. In the NBA, players take home 50% of the league's earnings. In the WNBA, just 9.3%. Sounds unfair, until you realize that even with that percentage, the league is still bleeding money. There simply isn't enough revenue to distribute. And let's not even get into attendance numbers. Caitlin Clark's Fever games are packing arenas, while let's just say Angel's games, not so much. Spoiler alert, there are a lot of empty seats where she plays.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero zip, nothing.
No one is saying WNBA players don't deserve recognition or fair compensation, but demanding bigger paychecks from a league that's barely staying afloat? That's not bold. It's completely out of touch. And coming from Reese, who's barely set foot in the league and is already acting like she's leading labor negotiations? That's a stretch. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is doing what she does best, racking up assists, breaking records, and solidifying her legacy without drama or ultimatums. She lets her game speak for itself, while Angel Reese is still struggling to finish at the rim without becoming a highlight for the wrong reasons. So the next time Reese talks about sitting out, someone might want to remind her, fans have already been sitting out of watching her play.
I mean, I'm not huge on like comparing the WNBA to the NBA. Like, I don't really think that's fair. Obviously, I think where the WNBA is right now is pretty incredible. I think a lot of people, or most people, would not believe it's in the place that it is right now. So I think when people always ask me this question, like where I think it'll be in 5 years, it's like it's hard for me to answer because people didn't even think we'd be right here, right now. And I think really sky's the limit. I think when you see, our TV numbers when we're on, national television, we're averaging over 1 million viewers or whatever it is. The All-Star game, I think, was over 4 million viewers. Like, it's just really great numbers. So the more opportunities we're given, I think the more it's going to shine and get better and better. I think also the talent level in college is continuing to get a lot better, and as those players come into the league, and it's going to continue to improve. We're adding 2 new teams next year, and then probably another team year after that.
Some more games.
Yeah, more games, which I think will be good. It will lengthen the season a little bit more.
Things get even more interesting when you factor in the growing friction between WNBA players and NBA stars. Remember the back and forth between Lisa Leslie and Draymond Green? Draymond had the audacity to suggest that WNBA players should focus on expanding the game before demanding bigger paychecks. Cue the instant backlash. But here's the thing, like it or not, he might have had a valid point.
It's a viral clip of Draymond Green basically lecturing one of the greatest players in NBA history, WNBA history. I think it's Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie didn't hold back when she suggested that NBA players could help bridge the WNBA salary gap, maybe by sacrificing just one of their high roller nights at the casino.
Ourselves to the NBA, but I do feel like the pay gap would be something that, we could just take a donation around the NBA maybe one night y'all don't go to the casino.
What might have seemed like a lighthearted remark from Lisa Leslie didn't sit well with Draymond Green. He fired back with full force, making it clear he wasn't amused. In his view, no group has shown more support for the WNBA than NBA players, and to suggest otherwise, that's just disrespectful. His fiery response only highlighted the growing tension between the two leagues.
I have something on this though, because it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA like
the most.
More than we probably support the.
While all this back and forth drama unfolds, an unlikely hero has stepped up as the WNBA's biggest game changer, Caitlin Clark. The league is experiencing an unprecedented surge, with 2.3 million fans filling arenas, a staggering 48% increase from last season. And who's at the center of this explosion in popularity? Clark, without a doubt. Yet, instead of embracing the player single-handedly pulling the league into the national spotlight, some veterans are treating her like the enemy. That's where Patrick Bet-David weighed in, bluntly stating that WNBA players should be praying for Clark's continued success, because without her, the league might not even be around much longer. This should be a moment where the entire WNBA unites to celebrate its newfound momentum. Instead, jealousy is creeping in, with some longtime players resenting the attention Clark is getting. Meanwhile, they're still demanding bigger paychecks from a league that's struggling to stay afloat. Maybe Angel Reese should hold off on salary negotiations until she can consistently finish at the rim under pressure.
And what they need, and by the way, maybe they should play hard, but not flagrant foul. Caitlin Clark, who can be, the face of the league. They may not like it's the face of the league. There may be professional jealousies among players, but maybe at face of the league can help things go and get merch, people in seats, and a better TV contract. They're getting a TV contract improvement for the 26th season next year.
Patrick didn't hold back, delivering a brutal yet eye-opening reality check. The WNBA hemorrhaged $40 million last year, and the year before that, another $40 million down the drain. So technically, they're not growing their revenue, just their losses. Progress, right? Never one to miss a mic drop moment, Patrick threw out a savage question to ChatGPT. Do WNBA players still get paid if they sit out? The answer? A resounding yes. And why is that? Because the NBA continues to prop them up, like a parent endlessly funding their kid's struggling garage band.
Watch this here. To address the financial situation, I ask, the WNBA is, Rob, if you go up and ask the other question as well, ask, is it true that the WNBA makes money when they don't play? Is it true that the WNBA makes money when they don't play? Ask that question.
What does that mean?
Yes. In a way, the WNBA has historically lost money and receives financial support from the NBA, which means that the WNBA games are not played. The league can actually save money by avoiding operating costs. Did you guys understand what happened right there?
Yeah.
So WNBA makes money when so if they go on a strike, the NBA is like, awesome.
Let's be real. If WNBA players actually went through with the strike Angel Reese was hinting at, the NBA wouldn't be outraged. If anything, they might pop some champagne. Less payroll to cover, fewer PR headaches, and a temporary break from the never-ending financial drain. Sounds like a win-win. For over 2 decades, the NBA has carried the WNBA like a parent lugging around an overstuffed backpack. And just when that load was getting unbearably heavy, in walks Caitlin Clark, bringing the hype, the skill, and the kind of attention the league has never seen before. You'd think this would be a turning point, a moment of unity, but nope. Somehow, the drama just keeps piling up.
Number that came up, which is their argument, which you have to kind of defend the argument that they're making. WNBA's attendance had a record-breaking high in 20 years, with a total of 2.3 million fans attending games.
Sure, attendance is up, and those sold-out arenas make for great social media clips. But beneath all the hype is a financial crisis that's been smoldering since 1997. That's over 25 years of operating in the red. Yet the league still acts like it's just one viral highlight away from breaking into the mainstream.
Viewership is higher, and they're asking for the money. And if the contract on the back end, the revenue, NBA gets 50+% to players, they do 9.3. There's an argument for it to be played, but you're right. If Caitlin Clark gets injured, it's...
Tom from Valuetainment didn't sugarcoat it. He laid out the brutal reality no one wants to admit. The NBA doesn't run the WNBA as a business. It treats it like a tax write-off. It's not about profit, it's about optics, a way to show they're investing in women's sports while quietly covering the losses. That big paycheck Angel Reese is demanding a larger cut of? It doesn't exist. There's no pie, just a few scattered crumbs, and even those are stretched thin. But believe it or not, there is a silver lining.
Increase was from 2024 to 2023 in attendance in a year, 48%. That's massive for them. So that's the argument they're making. That's the Caitlin Clark effect.
Phenomenon, yeah.
Then, and when it comes down to merch from 23 to 24, they're up 601%. Then when it comes down to being broadcasted on ESPN, they average 1.2 million viewers per game, 170% increase.
TV ratings are skyrocketing. Viewership on ESPN has surged by 170%, and merch sales have spiked 61%. That's not just an increase, it's a full-blown surge. And the reason, Caitlin Clark. When she's on the court, people tune in, they stay engaged, and they pack arenas until the final buzzer. You'd think the league would treat her like their most valuable asset, but instead, some players, like Aja Wilson, are more focused on downplaying her impact than embracing the momentum she's bringing. Tom put it in the simplest terms: make the league profitable, then talk about bigger paychecks. That's how MLB players built their salaries. They didn't demand raises while their league was in the red. That's just not how business works. And here's the wild part: if Angels' proposed strike actually happens, WNBA owners might not even be mad. Less payroll, less PR headaches. It's like finally cutting off the utilities on an empty house you've been paying for out of guilt.
This issue, and no one's going to like what I say, but there are hard-working women in the WNBA that are the stateswomen for their team. They're the lead player for their team, the face of the team, and they're out there doing it. But guess what? You know what the reality is? until the team makes a profit. And by the way, everything you talked about last year is tremendous progress, and it puts them closer to making a profit. Because as soon as they're profitable, they can go on strike and they can go from 9% of the revenue to 12% of the revenue to 15% of the revenue to 20% of the revenue. But if there's no revenue...
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is the reason casual fans even care about the WNBA right now. The stands are packed, the cameras are rolling, and for once, the league is a trending topic. Angel Reese might see herself as the star of the show, but this isn't TikTok. This is pro basketball, and the audience isn't just here for the drama. She can demand bigger checks all she wants, but until she delivers results that translate to revenue, it's just empty talk. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there rewriting record books, expanding the game's reach, and giving the WNBA a legitimate future. Want higher salaries? Start by respecting the reason the league's even getting this kind of attention in the first place. And spoiler alert, it's not the podcast host with $1 million brand deal. It's the quiet, laser-focused phenom in Indiana Fever, Red.
So the minute they are a profitable league, the players should do what baseball players and everybody else have done, is saying, sorry owners, you're making an awful lot of profit there. I think you should move us from 33 to 40% of total revenue. And that's the way it's worked in other leagues. But step one, there's got to be profit to...
Let's wrap this up. The WNBA's financial situation isn't just rough. It's completely reliant on outside help. For years, the NBA has pumped in $10 to $12 million annually just to keep the league afloat. That's not generosity. It's a financial crutch. Now imagine Angel Reese and company actually following through on their threats to strike. Think the NBA would panic? Not a chance. They'd probably celebrate the millions they'd no longer have to sink into a league that can't sustain itself. But here's the twist. Change is possible. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is working toward a future where the WNBA stands on its own, powered by smart business moves and real fan engagement, not endless bailouts. And who's the biggest piece of that puzzle? Caitlin Clark. She's the one driving ticket sales, TV ratings, and national interest like never before. The solution is simple. Lean into what's working, back the stars people actually pay to see, and build a league that doesn't need saving. Because if the WNBA doesn't evolve now, there might not be another chance. And let's be real, Angel Reese isn't exactly helping the cause. What do you think? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Click the video on your screen, and we'll see you next time.